While there are Pokemon that are endangered in the Pokemon world, there are also unfortunately a lot of animals that are endangered in our own world. And there are a lot more endangered species out there than you might think. Some of these animals actually also have counterparts in the Pokemon world. And since our world and the Pokemon world share a lot of similarities, chances are that if these animals are going endangered, then their Pokemon counterparts are going endangered as well. So in today's video, to help spread awareness of the animals that are endangered in the real world, as well as to let you know which of your favorite Pokemon monsters are also probably endangered in the Pokemon world, we're going to be going over the top 10 endangered Pokemon in real life. Now, in no way does this mean that these are the top 10 animals that are endangered in the real world, as not every animal has a Pokemon counterpart, and some Pokemon will be covering multiple different species of animals, and in some cases, we may have multiple different Pokemon in the same slot. This is a list of Pokemon that have some of the most endangered counterparts, and not extinct, according to my research that was done to the best of my ability. In most cases, we will be only mentioning one member of the Pokemon family, but know that if one member of the evolutionary line is affected, then it affects the whole evolutionary line. There may be some mistakes in terms of ranking these Pokemon, and there probably will be some better Pokemon that could have made the list that I overlooked. So after you're done watching the video, I want you to comment down below with your thoughts and opinions of the list, and let me know what Pokemon you think should have made the list, as well as what you plan to do to help endangered species avoid extinction. If you do enjoy the video, then hero punch that like button. If you don't, hit that dislike button. Let me know how you feel. Share the video around if you want to help support the channel, and finally, subscribe if you want to stay up to date with all my content. Now let's get started with the list. Number 10. Darmanitan and Oranguru. We're starting this list off with a double entry with the two orangutan Pokemon. I know that most of you already knew that Oranguru was based off an orangutan, but I bet some of you are surprised to know that Darmanitan also has some aspects based off an orangutan. If you put both Pokemon's names together, you even get the word orangutan. Though orangutans were all once considered to be one species of animals, they were divided into two different species in 1996. The Bornean orangutan and the Sumatran orangutan. And while it was discovered earlier, in 2017, a third species was identified, the Tapanuli orangutan. I think you guys can tell which of these apes affect which Pokemon's origins. Fun fact, in the Malay language, the word orangutan actually means man of the forest. But though we have three different kinds of forest men, each and every single one of them are critically endangered, as the Bornean orangutan has an estimated population of 50 to 60,000, the Sumatran orangutan has an estimated population of 7,000, and the Tapanuli orangutan has an abysmal population of less than 800, making it the rarest great ape in the world. A century ago, there were over 230,000 orangutans in the world, meaning that the orangutan's population is now around a quarter of what it once was. So, there's a reason why Oranguru is exclusive to Moon version, and why there are only 5 Zenmo Darmanitan out there. They're both pretty intelligent Pokemon, so I think it's best if we take care of them out there so that they can help take care of the other creatures in the wild as well. Number 9. Leopard. Don't let its encounter rate in Unova fool you. While there are many different species of leopards, none of them even come close to the threat that the Amur leopard is facing, as there are only around 170 to 180 of them in captivity, and only around 30 to 40 of them in the wild. This majestic cat lives in the Far East forests of Russia and northeastern China, but due to hunting and a lack of genetic diversity, their population has come down at a drastic rate, making them the most endangered cat in the world. But fortunately, due to the efforts of different organizations and conservations, the population of the Amur leopard has actually been going up as of late, so the future is thankfully looking brighter for these guys. While Leopard doesn't specifically represent the Amur leopard, it's the only leopard Pokemon we got so far, and it itself is somewhat of a rare Pokemon in certain regions like Kalos. So while you may see them all over Unova because they're quite common there, remember that their cousins over in Kalos and other regions are in need of some help. Number 8. Sandslash. Now while its previous evolution may have been a shrew and similar to an armadillo, Sandslash over here is most similar to the pangolin. While these animals look like they're protected with knight-like armor and ready to go straight into battle, they just tend to get scared and roll up into a ball without really fighting back at all. Though they're incredibly cute, they're the most trafficked wild mammals and said to be the world's most hunted animal, as pangolin meat is considered to be a delicacy in China and Vietnam. And pangolin scales and fetuses are also said to be used in traditional Chinese medicine to treat various different kinds of ailments, from arthritis to cancer. And while that may seem good and all, it's at the cost of the survival of these little guys. There are 8 different known species of pangolins, and of the 8, the Chinese pangolin and the Sunda pangolin are both critically endangered. So much so, to the point where Jackie Chan had to be a part of a video to spread awareness of this and to help the pangolin fend off poachers. It's a good thing that Sandslash was able to strive and thrive in Alola and get a new form because of it, or else we may have not had Sandslash at all. But regardless of which Sandslash it is, after Jackie Chan's training lessons, don't try to hurt these little guys, or else they may just hit you with a brick break. Number 7. Donphan. One of my favorite animals of all time has to be, without a doubt, the elephant. So because of that, Phanpy and Donphan have a special place in my heart. And it's not just me either.
Oh! Oh my god, as soon as I got the video, I found a Phanpy! Oh!
But part of the reason why it's so hard to find Phanpy has to be because of their declining population, due to them being hunted for their ivory. Though it's illegal nowadays, it still unfortunately happens, and has been the main cause of 6 different elephant species becoming endangered. When entering the 20th century, there were a few million African elephants around, and 100,000 Asian elephants. And as we go through the 21st century, we're left with around 700,000 African elephants and 32,000 Asian elephants. Trying to get the elephant number to go up is also a huge challenge, as it takes 22 months for a baby elephant to be born. Thankfully, Donphan doesn't produce eggs that take too long to hatch, so if you end up trying to breed for a perfect and shiny Phanpy, and end up with a ton of Phanpy in your PC, you'd actually be doing the world a huge favor if you released the ones that you weren't going to use, or if you wonder traded them to other trainers. Number 6. Primarina and Samurott. Bet you didn't see these 2 starters coming, eh? Oh, right. Typical YouTuber joke. Well, yeah, starter Pokemon are said to be rare for a reason. So, why are they both here? Well, in the Pokemon world, for whatever reason, otters and sea lions tend to fall under the same evolutionary line. And as Primarina and Samurott are both sea lions, I thought it'd only be fair to mention both of them together, for both sea lions and the giant otter. Sea lions, such as the Stellar Sea Lion and the Australian Sea Lion, are mainly endangered, as fishers who didn't like the sea lions, cause they were eating a lot of the fish that they were trying to catch, shot them dead. And some were hunted for their hide and oil. As for the giant otter, it was mainly hunted for their pelts, which caused their population to decline pretty quickly. Not only that, but habitat loss is also a major threat to both sea lions and otters alike, as the destruction of aquatic habitats not only take their home away, but also take away their food, as the fish populations also dwindle. So next time you start your journey in either Unova or Alola, just remember that Professor Juniper and Kukui are both offering you very rare water type Pokemon, and that's not just because they're starter Pokemon either. Number 5. Slacking. Another member of the primate family, and by far one of the laziest, and one that has the potential to be one of the most aggressive ones in terms of Pokemon and real world animals. While Slacking's true ability and name may mainly be based off of a sloth, its appearance is mainly based off of a gorilla. The gorilla species as a whole is in fact endangered, but the main endangered subspecies here are the mountain gorillas, having only around a population of 800 gorillas left. Now, if Slacking has showed us anything, it's that gorillas can be pretty strong, especially out in the wild. So, why are gorillas endangered then? While it's true that they have no natural predator out in the wild, they do have to face one certain predator, and that's us. Gorillas are mainly targeted and killed by humans for their meat and fur, and are vulnerable to human-like diseases such as Ebola. On top of that, they just have a very low reproduction rate, but most of all, they face habitat loss due to our farming and cultivation, which cause us to take over their homes. So while we may be mad at our dad Slykings for giving us a hard time at the Petalburg gym, it's important for us to overlook that and take care of them for the damage that we've caused to them. Number 4. Chinchino. Listen, alright, I've had Squirtle with me on the channel for some time now, but there's a reason why I got Minchino to tag along as well. It's cause it's so freaking cute. That and cause it's endangered. Okay, maybe I only picked it up because it's one of my favorite Pokemon because of how adorable it is and yet how strong and versatile it is, but my friend got her Chinchilla because she knew that the species was endangered, so sorta counts for me too, yeah? The long-tailed and short-tailed chinchillas are the most endangered rodents in the world, as the species was nearly exterminated due to poaching, hunting, habitat destruction, and various other reasons, causing the population to go down a frightening 90% over only the past 15 years. The threat still remains there today, so if you do own a chinchilla as a pet, the good news here is that you are in fact helping save the species, so good on you for that. And if you're planning to get a chinchilla as a pet, just know that they're very sensitive and high maintenance animals, so you gotta be aware of all its needs before buying one. But, I mean, as a Pokemon fan, that should have been obvious to you, right? After all, with how much of a neat freak Chinchino and Minchino are, you had to know that the real world counterparts were the exact same way. Number 3. Wailord. While it may have the most HP of all Water-type Pokemon, and while it may be the biggest Pokemon of all time, it certainly isn't the Pokemon with the biggest population. Wailord is without a surprise based on the blue whale, the animal considered to be the biggest animal of all time. You'd think with a title like that, the species would be thriving and thriving. But nope, the species is in fact endangered. There were once over 200,000 blue whales swimming in the oceans, but now there's only an estimated 10,000 to 25,000 blue whales remaining. They reached this number after people had hunted the whales excessively in the 1900s for whale oil, blubber, and other things. It all came to a stop in 1966 with the International Whaling Commission that kept whales under protection. But because of things such as overfishing, climate change, and pollution, it's hard for them whales to get their numbers back up. And no, though they are mammals, they cannot breed with skitties like how Wailord does in the game. So if we want to save these guys, we better start becoming more aware of our impact on the environment and look for ways to help them out. Number 2. Rhyhorn. There should be no surprise with this one, as unfortunately, the last northern white rhino just went extinct earlier this year. However, we don't have to grieve and dwell in sadness. We can learn from the past and look for ways to help the remaining rhino species move past the threat of being endangered. Every rhino species is endangered, but the most endangered ones right now are the black rhino with a population of just over 5,000. Then plummeting down, we have the Sumatran rhino with a population of only 100 rhinos. And then finally, we have the Javan rhino with a population of little over only 60 rhinos. This time around, the biggest reason for this is by far poaching. Specifically poaching for rhinoceros horns to sell in the black market. And there's even a supposed myth that rhino horns have some kind of special medicinal property to them that causes people to kill them for their horns. When in reality, the horns are just made out of keratin, the same substance that our fingernails and hair are made out of. So next time you encounter a Rhyhorn in the Safari Zone, know that for the time being, it's probably more safe inside than it is in the wild. And its evolution Rhydon is a very significant Pokemon, as it was the first Pokemon ever created or drawn in the real world. So we better save him, or else our children or grandchildren may never get to see the animals that were the inspiration for the first Pokemon ever made. Quick honorable mention to the example that I used earlier, and the one Pokemon family that I bet everyone was expecting to be on this list. Pancham and Pangoro. A list of endangered Pokemon and animals, and the pandas didn't make the top 10? Why? Well, you'll be happy to know that during September of 2016, the giant panda was no longer classified as endangered, but rather as vulnerable. This does mean that they're still in danger of population crisis and extinction, but not as bad as they were before. So, while we still have work to do, we can give ourselves a pat on the back for making some progress with the survival of this species. Number 1. Incineroar. If it wasn't going to be the rhinos, and it wasn't going to be the pandas, then it had to be the tigers. But despite that, I still bet that most of you didn't think that another starter Pokemon would be on this list. Like I said earlier, starter Pokemon are rare for a reason. They really are endangered. Within the past 80 years, 3 out of the 9 subspecies of tigers have gone extinct, and there are predictions rolling around saying that within the next decade or so, the tigers in the wild may actually go extinct. And with a population of under 4,000 tigers for all 6 remaining subspecies, it is very possible. Once again, habitat loss is one of the main causes for this, as well as illegal hunting for their pelts and body parts that are used for certain medicines. While hunting for tigers is already illegal, there are still ways that you can help out the species, as well as all the other species on this list. Habitat loss and climate change have been some of the biggest contributors to the danger that these species face. So doing simple things like lowering your carbon footprint can definitely make a big change, especially if you start encouraging other people to do the same as well. Or maybe you can start a campaign to support an endangered animal, or support an already existing campaign. It's all up to you. But remember, you do have a choice, and you can make a difference. there you have it, guys. Those are the top 10 endangered Pokemon in real life. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on the next video, alright? Later.